Hello, and welcome to the Autism Resources Kawartha podcast. I'm Matt Garrity, and I'm so happy to be here with you. In this episode, I sit down with Heather, a retired teacher and owner of R&J Stables. Heather shares her incredible journey from education to equine-assisted therapy, exploring how her lifelong love of horses has evolved into a deeply meaningful program that supports individuals with autism. Heather discusses her background in special education and her personal connection to disability through her late aunt shaped her approach to inclusion and understanding. She explains the unique bond between people and horses, how these intuitive animals help riders self-regulate, build confidence, and experience calm. We also speak about the story behind Sammy's Place, the therapeutic riding program named in honor of a young rider who inspired Heather's mission. Together, we reflect on the healing power of animals, the importance of individualized learning, and the role of compassion and autonomy in both teaching and parenting. The Autism Resources Kawartha podcast is a series of unscripted conversations with local autistic people and the people who love them right here in Kawartha Lakes. As we approach the end of Season 1, I wanted to sincerely thank everyone who listened and supported us. If you or someone you know may be interested in being a guest on the podcast, or you want to sponsor the podcast next season, let us know. In the meantime, continue to follow and subscribe. This podcast couldn't be possible without the support of Cardinal Home Services. Thank you so much. Check them out at cardinalhome.ca. Now, finally, enjoy this conversation with Heather. So Heather, what's your experience with autism?
Well, currently, I run a therapeutic horseback riding facility in Woodville. And in that, we run a lot of different programs, but one of the programs we run invites folks with autism and also integrates with people who just want to come and have a social horseback ride. And so it's been an amazing experience working with horses and people with autism. But previous in my history, growing up, I had an aunt I was very close to who had a disability, which probably would have been diagnosed as autism now, like currently. But she was supported by a group called the Rena Foundation in Toronto. And so I was kind of I spent a lot of time in that community. And it really shaped the trajectory of my life. And that comfort level around people with disabilities really both in teaching, because I'm a retired teacher, and then now currently with what I'm doing at our farm, it's kind of pivoted to become therapeutic, and it's been amazing. So I think the biggest thing is just discovering the power of horses with people with autism.
Awesome. This is great because I really didn't know what to ask you, where to go. I knew you had the farm and the stable and the program, but that was it. And there's already more questions, which is great. So do I call it the farm or do I call it the stables? It's R&J Stables.
Yes.
How did R&J Stables come about? Was it because of like that experience with your aunt and those people, or?
I think, so we moved here from Toronto in 2016. So we've been here 9 years. And I always knew that I wanted to have a farm. And I always knew I wanted to have horses. I rode quite a bit, and then I didn't actually get my first horse till I was 46. But I immediately started using the horses to help people. So started off with kids with behavior problems, and that's actually what I initially wanted to do, is work with young offenders, which I've done a little bit of. And
was that because of your schooling background at that point, or? Sorry to interrupt already, but like, so you had the farm, you wanted to run some programs, and
this is actually before the farm.
Okay.
So my whole teaching, I focused a lot on working with people with behavior problems.
Sure.
So I had a lot of, I enjoyed that aspect of it, but I also had my special education qualifications. So I was involved in lots of different classes, in a lot of different ways in teaching in special education. And so before we even came to the farm, I got my first horse and started using that horse with some kids that I knew with behavior problems. And it was kind of miraculous. I've never seen anything like it before, the quick positive effect of horses. So then when I came up here, we ended up getting a few more horses, and then started using the horses just for lessons in summer camp and trail riding. And the story really, which is really quite interesting, of how it connected to autism pretty quickly. And I was given permission to use these names. So
Sure.
my friend Deb Ferguson, who I worked with, she asked me one day early on when I first got to the school if her son Blake could come ride at my facility. And he lives with autism, and he was about 15 at the time. He'd been riding for a few years, but the fit wasn't right for him where he was. So I said, sure. And I'm going to be honest, like, at first I was a little nervous because, he had some very obvious tics and some unexpected or movements and things like that. And I didn't know how my horses would handle it. So he came, and I'm telling you, Matt, like, he got on that horse, and both the horse and Blake were so positively affected. He just kind of quieted his whole nervous system down, and he's an excellent rider. So we were able to do a lot of different things together, and just to see how calming the horse was for him, and to see how the horses just know. They just know their rider. And I firmly believe, after like the experiences, like, Blake's taught me so much. He's been riding, so he's, I think 24 now, and he's been riding, the longest rider I think that I've had. So I've learned so much about autism and about autism and horseback riding, but I just lost my train of thought. Sorry,
That's
but
okay.
it was just unreal to see the impact that. Oh, I remember what I was going to say. That I firmly believe that people with what I've seen, people with autism just have a different relationship with animals. They're and I'm not a doctor. I'm not a person who understands this from a theoretical level.
Yeah.
But just to see there is a different level of connection. I don't know, I can't explain it, but it's really incredible. Not just with the horses, with all the animals. It's amazing.
Yeah. So you said Blake and the other kids at that point, or teens that you'd worked with that maybe had behavioral issues, were positively affected. In what ways? Like you said, calm. Yeah.
So one of the biggest ways looking at behaviors is, especially some of the tougher kids, is the horse kind of put them on an even playing field. So you have some real tough kids, and then there's this, 17-hand horse that weighs like 1,500 pounds or whatever. So that even playing field was really helpful. But then horses has this incredible ability to help people self-regulate. It's great for biofeedback, like having riders be able to control their own anxiety, their own anger, their own, stress by watching a horse relax as they relax. It's amazing to watch. So as a person can kind of bring those feelings down, you see the physical effects on a horse too. And so that's the biofeedback. You can see the horse's head dropping and their body relaxing. It's really, it's fascinating.
Hey, it's Matt Garrity from the Autism Resources Kawartha podcast. I want to tell you about one of my family's favorite things to do in Kawartha Lakes, the Crazy Creative program at the Kawartha Art Gallery. It's totally free, open to all ages, and every Saturday the gallery turns into a space where you can express your imagination with model magic. I've taken my kids countless times, and we always walk away with big smiles. I've also talked to artists on this podcast who are autistic, and I love how a program like Crazy Creative makes creativity accessible for everyone. Join in any Saturday from 11 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. at the Kawartha Art Gallery. You can find out more by following them on social media or visiting kawarthagallery.com. You'll love it. Is there a reason why horses seem to be used so much with therapy?
Yeah, I think a lot of people recognize, there's been tons of studies, first of all. Horses like match their heart rates to other horses and to people, and they're so intuitive. So what I find interesting is a lot of people think, well, I can't ride a horse. If I'm nervous, the horse is going to be nervous. It's not quite like that. I think each party can help the other party. You know what I mean? So the horse can help the rider to calm down and to relax. And if you have the right horses, of course. So the horses I have are mostly rescues. They're obviously purchased or given in the understanding of how calm and relaxed they are. And so not every horse is going to be that way. But I know there's been a lot of studies in terms of how horses, just their perception, their intuitiveness can just really impact people positively.
They almost feel like friends. So we live beside horses, and there's a lot of them. And you go outside, you kind of see a new one right along our fence. We'll go up, they'll come up to us, talk to it, pet it. And then any day you go outside, they'll see you. They walk over, kind of say hello. It's pretty cool to see.
Yeah.
The kids love it. And at first we were excited. Then we got bored of it. Now we're back, like really enjoying it again.
Nice. Well, I mean, it's different. We talk a lot about dogs and horses, and dogs are that unbridled love for you.
Yeah.
That's not the same thing, but horses do know their people, and there's really cool studies about how, if a horse was treated poorly, let's say by somebody, that person can leave for months and months and months and return, and the horse's heart rate and blood pressure and things like that are negatively affected when that person walks in the room. And so the opposite is also true. So kind and gentle people have that impact on horses as well. And I think it's just that I didn't really add this in, but it's the non-judgmentalness of a horse that is so incredible for all people, and just to spend time with them. They're so large and they're so beautiful, but they can be so accepting and gentle.
Why were you drawn to horses? Why did you want a horse?
Oh my
so
God,
bad?
I was such a horse girl. It was terrible. I loved animals from an early age, and I loved horses. And my parents let me take lessons. I was about 8 years old. And I was in love. It was obsessive, but we couldn't afford it. And so after 2 years, I had to stop, and because it's an expensive sport, and it was devastating. But life goes on, and so I would just kind of ride wherever I could. And like I said, you really have a big appreciation when it takes that long to get your first horse. So I absolutely love horses, and I've changed my understanding and relationship to them as well, because when you're young, you see them as a vehicle, like you're excited to jump and to learn, canter and go fast. But now, for me, it's all about let's be as gentle as we can with our horses. Let's treat them as gently as we can. We still have fun with them, but you sort of change and understand your relationship with animals a bit better.
Yeah. Did the program that you started, what did you call the program?
So
That Blake's in?
Well, I mean, my whole program therapeutically is called Sammy's Place.
Okay.
I'm not sure.
Yeah.
And that's a really important story to tell. So my friend Robin's daughter, Sammy Bensky, passed away. She lost her battle with mental health. She was 16. And when we moved up here, it was just kind of when that happened. And so we decided to name our barn and all our therapeutic programs Sammy's Place in honor of Sammy. We have a picture of her at our barn riding, because she had come when I was still in Richmond Hill. She had come and ridden there and really liked it. And so, everything we do is in honor of Sammy. The program that we run on Sundays, I mean, I kind of call it a social ride.
Okay.
Because it's integrated. So not all our riders have autism, but, it's just an opportunity to be social, to kind of come together to play some games, but also have your individual lesson. And we come together again for a trail ride. Pretty much all our programs at my barn are one-to-one with an instructor. So we don't do group lessons where there's one instructor and lots of different riders. And so, I think the other thing that is important for me to share is that I've kind of researched a lot of therapeutic riding, and a common thread is sort of having the individuals come in and walk in a circle in an arena and with sidewalkers. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that, but I also think it kind of underestimates what you can do with people who have disabilities. And I think we try to run programs that are as similar as we can to any other program we've run. So we make sure that that our riders are engaged, learning skills to the best of their ability, and also having fun and having a trail ride as well, which to me is like the best part of any ride is being in the woods.
Sure.
So that's been really nice.
Yeah. So what you're saying, just for, I don't know anything about horses and programs, but most of these therapeutic programs, it's almost like I'm thinking you go to some sort of fair and there's someone there with a pony ride and you hop on a horse and you just walk around in a circle. And it's very basic and yours is different.
Yeah.
It's much more involved.
I mean, I'm not speaking on for sure. I'm just the ones that like, I'm not speaking on behalf of all horse.
We're not critical
riding,
of other ones. Yes.
but I have, you know, I've researched, and I'm in the process of becoming certified as a CANTRA, Canadian Therapeutic Riding Association instructor. So it's a bit of a process, but I'm working towards it. But a lot of the facilities that's kind of what they do. It's an indoor arena, and they have the support that the riders need, which is great. But I just think it's kind of been in my teaching too that don't underestimate what people can do just because they have a disability. You might have to modify it. You might have to accommodate them somehow differently. But yeah, like there's absolutely no reason, in my opinion, why there shouldn't be more to it than that. And that it should be, you know, exciting. It should be developmental so that you're actually learning things and building on them. Yeah.
I thought it was cool when we came to see
Thank
it.
you.
It was amazing. It was beautiful.
Aw.
In hindsight, definitely interesting because I didn't know what to expect, but it was like, okay, there's the different almost stations and like I felt like a get ready and then a warm up and then we're going to walk over to the trail and that's when we took off. But it was really interesting to see and really cool to see. Met Blake and his mom and some of the other parents. Didn't talk too much to too many other kids, but like you said, it wasn't all people with autism or kids with autism or teens with autism. There were kids there that the mom said had like severe anxiety, social anxiety. So it was amazing to see like that collection of people and kids there, all very happy. The energy was just very calm and chill in a very positive way. And it was just great to see. So
That's a really nice compliment. That's exactly what I would hope would happen. And I'm so lucky because I have incredible staff, really. And I have staff that are just fantastic people. And everyone loves working individually with clients from all different backgrounds, which is amazing. And yeah, it's super fun.
didn't you retire? This sounds like a very full-time job though.
Yeah, it's only one of like three, but that's okay. I retired in 2023. And I retired with the understanding that I still needed to work. Like it wasn't like Freedom 55 type retirement. So, so yeah, it's busy. But I love it. Like and the biggest change for me has been changing to we want to change to become fully therapeutic, and we're on the way. We did fundraising for a wheelchair mounting block. I think you saw
Yeah, that was amazing. That was cool.
And man, that's a game changer because even with people, we've had riders with cerebral palsy, so they can weight bear, but getting mounting and dismounting was very difficult. And now we have this. We use it for everyone because we're trying to get the horses as used to it as possible. But even, with older riders who have, hip mobility issues, we've had riders with MS. And so just being able to not put your body weight in a stirrup to get on, just basically sit on like you're sitting onto a bike and getting off really easily. It's I think, amazing. It's been great.
And how long did you teach for?
30 years.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I had 4 mat leaves, so I guess it's like 26.
And you said you worked with like a lot of special needs kids, or what'd you love to do as a teacher?
So I started in high school. I taught English special ed phys ed in high school. That was in Orangeville, where I got my first job. And then I came back to Toronto and worked in a junior high school with, I don't know if the name's changed since, but MID, which is mild intellectual disability class. So self-contained class, and also taught phys ed. And then I changed, and then did some just regular English. And then I changed to another school where I did just grade 8, and also had a couple gym classes with kids with developmental disabilities. That was really neat to try. And then I came up here and I taught a few different grades getting started, and then stayed in the grade 8 area. But lots of integration now in classes. I think the pendulum's that way. It changes back and forth, but lots of integration. I probably taught a lot of students with autism early on, but didn't know because
Sure.
there was a lot less diagnosis, especially for girls. So you probably, we're teaching kids and kind of accommodating for them without really knowing a diagnosis. But yeah, I think the writing, again, back to Blake, was really, it was just like, I think it opened a lot of doors in my mind to like how many people we could serve. Because the horses are, like I said, they react so positively. And so that was really exciting.
Now, with Blake and anyone else that's there, like how quickly do they take to this? I would be scared. I think someone with autism, not to speak for them, might be scared as well to get near these horses. Like you said, they're big. They're not scary, but they look big and scary when you're this tall, or I'm this tall. How quickly do they take to them?
This is definitely an individual question, but we are pretty good at helping brand new riders to get on the horse. Once they're on, it's fine. It's just the getting on. We have mini horses, so some kids or people will kind of spend time with the miniature horses first because they're a lot less intimidating, of course. But generally, like I said, there's a really strange connection. It not strange in a bad way, but just so fascinating. And then so when you can get people to, just spend time standing beside the horse, and we don't actually take a person and just put them on a horse. So we do grooming first. We do leading on the ground with anyone who rides with us, because we do that as well, to form a bit of a connection, to practice some of the verbal cues and physical cues, which, by the way, we can totally adapt, because not everyone is verbal, and not everyone physically can do what we ask. So there's all kinds. That's the horses have been trained to be able to respond in different ways. But we do groundwork, and then we get our individuals on the horse and take our time from there. But I mean, I can count on one hand over 9 years the amount of people who've come and just said we're not getting on, and that's okay too. Like, we've told parents, if that's okay, there's no pressure.
Yeah. I think it's probably important that every week in that program there's that routine too. I think the people there that are part of it like that. They probably get 100%. There. They like routine in general, but then it helps them get there, get comfortable, and everything.
100%. And especially when you're talking about people with anxiety, they love horseback riding. One of our clients that morning loves it, but it's getting in the car. It's getting out of the house and getting there. And once that happens, you're right, that routine is what kind of draws you into the whole program, gets you on the horse. And then that's where sort of the fun really does happen, for sure.
That's awesome. That's the thing that's the worst right now, I believe, with my oldest son, Beckett, with school right now, where he's having a heck of a time going. And he's been vocal that he loves school, but it's like scary. Getting there. So we've given him like complete free reign this year. He's in charge of attendance, when he goes, how long he goes. He's thriving.
Amazing.
He's barely at school, but that's a whole different thing and a mindset. But he is like he is in the summer, where my wife and me, Meg, I don't know if you ever met Meg.
Yeah, she
Right,
came
yes,
with
she
you,
was there,
yeah.
yes. And where we're like, he's a different kid because he doesn't have to go to school, which he loves, but it's like it stresses him out so much. And then this year, because we've kind of let him do that,
But you're giving him more control and autonomy, which for him, right, sounds like it's going to make him much more successful.
Yeah, we've learned last year, the more we listen to him, the better things are.
And I have 2 of my 4 kids, have learning disabilities or other sensory stuff.
Sure.
And I tell you, man, it doesn't matter how many kids you have. You think you know things, and then you just realize you know nothing, and then you just do better when you know more. Right?
Yeah.
Know better things, do better things, but what a learning curve parenting is. Like, holy moly.
It's constant, and I've only been in it for 10 years, so
Still, that's a long time. It's good. You're doing awesome.
and I think we're learning stuff quickly because of Beckett, and then because of Foster, because we listen to both of them and like treat them like equals in so many ways. And yeah, we're in charge and we're moving things forward because we have the capabilities and the strengths as adults to do certain things, but they're still equal and they're part of the conversation, and we listen to them, and that has been a game changer
so good
this year. So I wish I learned that years ago, but
I think it's like hard always to find the balance with kids about how much to push them into something and how much to listen to them, because I know with my kids, or most of them, that there was just times where they had to be pushed, and then they loved whatever it was. You knew they were going to love it, and you just had to, but then you don't want to be like, causing these huge meltdowns. It's a really hard balance. I still don't really know the right, because like, from I'm older than you, but when we were kids, like you just did what you were told. It doesn't, and there was good parts to that.
Yeah.
There was definitely things I'm glad I was forced to do. But yeah, it's really hard as a parent.
I was going to ask, I've lost my train of thought now. This is the first time this has happened.
That's okay.
That's positive.
That's okay.
Tell me a bit more about your aunt.
My aunt.
Yeah.
So actually, it's interesting because she passed away last year, and we just had it's called an unveiling for her yesterday. So I just spoke about her yesterday, and just the impact that she had on my life. She was my dad's sister, and she lived supported, but in the end, she was like kind of in a group home situation. Extremely happy, kind of like the most honest soul, knew every, that this is kind of, I think, that autism trait, like knew absolutely everybody's birthday, everybody's kid's name, then like unbelievable memory, like for those kinds of things, unreal. And I think like just the most, I think the word I'm trying to think of, but innocent soul you could ever meet, because you just wanted to spend time with family. And so, yeah, she was fantastic. And just seeing her with all her friends was just great memories of that. Like, it was crazy.
Yeah.
Because they would live, like at certain points in her life, she'd live in an apartment with a roommate. And I just remember once coming over, and they were all, like, the whole floor was in her room. And she had them all organized, She was the most kind of with it and had them all organized and didn't want them to embarrass her in front of her niece. But yeah, she was amazing. But brought up in a time where you hid people who had disabilities.
Sure.
So I don't know how long she went to school for. And through Rena, though, like, her life became a lot more enriched, and she had the opportunity to go on out trips and work to some degree and have social, social experiences, which was good.
Yeah. What's an unveiling?
So I'm Jewish.
Okay.
And so one of the traditions that we do is when someone passes away, you put up a stone and then it's covered. And so it gets engraved. And then sometime, usually within the first year, you meet back at the cemetery, and it's called an unveiling because they unveil the stone. And then you kind of have a little ceremony and talk about the person. And yeah.
That's amazing. Do you do, I don't, like a funeral right away still?
Yeah.
And then this is like a tradition like a year later.
Yeah. Like one of the things that's very different that I found, or it was a little bit, because I just thought it was normal. But when someone dies in Jewish religion, the funeral's like the next day.
They sit for a week, or am I making that up?
No, that's
okay.
true.
Okay.
You're right. That's called sitting Shiva. So basically, someone passes away. Our tradition or our religion dictates that they are the funerals as fast as possible. That so usually the 1 day or 2 days later, and then it's called sitting Shiva, where you at someone's house, people come for 7 days, usually 7 days, and people bring meals. They sign up for meals, and you do just different traditions for those 7 days of grieving.
It's a beautiful religion.
Thank you.
And I don't know if I should say this, but like my only experience is through TV and movies.
Yeah.
And like we're watching a show right now. I think it's called Nobody Wants This.
Oh my God. I was just going to
Is that good or bad?
I love that show.
Okay, I love it. It's so good. And
hilarious,
it's a lot about Judaism.
Yeah.
And I'm like, this is beautiful. Like it's fascinating to learn like those
Such
little
a good
things.
show.
I don't know how accurate it is, but like we just watched an episode last night where it's a naming ceremony.
Yeah,
I'm like,
baby
that's
naming.
so cool.
Yeah.
It was so interesting. Anyways.
That's for girls. Yeah.
Yes.
But yeah, no, my whole family's been watching this. So
Yeah.
I just knew it. But yeah, there's obviously a lot of sort of Jewish content in a lot of movies and television and actors, comedians, etc. So
I was in the back of my head nervous. I'm like, should I bring it up? I hope.
yeah,
But like,
course.
I'm pretty sure the lead actor is Jewish, and I think maybe, and I believe they speak of it very nicely, and they're trying to like showcase it and highlight it. So, anyways,
you never, don't ever have to worry about that.
So as a teacher with IEPs and dealing with autistic people, when did you start to see any sort of uptake in those? And you, like you said, and it's true, 20 years ago, it probably wasn't being spoken about as much. When did you start to see like, okay, this is happening more?
Well, I mean, definitely, probably in the last 15 years of my career. So probably, I would say over the last 20 years, there were a lot more people diagnosed with a lot of things. So, you went from having 1 to 2 people in your class with an IEP, which is an individual education plan, which probably everybody knows this on this podcast, but to having more than half your class with IEPs, which in a sense kind of defeats the purpose because, you can't, it's not possible in a class of 30 kids to be teaching individual programming, right?
Sure.
But a good teacher definitely can modify and accommodate the different needs in their class. So then the last maybe year or 2 of my teaching, they started to try to reduce the number of people who were getting IEPs for certain things. But yeah, there was definitely a lot more people were diagnosed a lot more in the past, I would say 20 years, a little bit less. And like 2 of my kids have an IEP for learning disability. So I saw it from both directions. Yeah.
Why were they trying to reduce the amount of IEPs?
Because I think like anything, there were a lot of IEPs given out for things that were not specific diagnoses. So, it would be like kids who just needed some accommodation, and they were getting all this paperwork and tons of paperwork, but they didn't have an actual diagnosis. And so it became just like I said, like more than half the class having IEPs. So, I mean, it's not a perfect science. And obviously, especially since the pandemic, there's a lot of behaviors and a lot of challenges with everybody, with all the kids. So, teaching, it was the best career ever. I loved it and love teaching still, but it's a challenge, right?
It's very hard.
Yeah, it's a challenge. So, I think a lot of parents definitely, I got that feedback during the pandemic, like, oh my gosh, like after the kids were home for such a long period of time, like they need to go back to school. What you do is, no, but yeah. And like, not just teachers, like the educational assistants and everyone who contributes to the learning of the kids in a building. Like it's a tough job.
Mm-hmm. I've got one more question for you. But before that, anything else you want to talk about with Sammy's place in R&J Stables?
I think I was thinking about this question, and I wanted to leave by saying that if you have someone in your life with autism, or you yourself live with autism, and you haven't tried horseback riding or being with horses, like I would just really, doesn't have to be with me, but just recommend you give it a shot and try it out, because I think there's just so much there to be gained. And just the feedback I've gotten and the things that I've observed, like I think I would just recommend it just to give it a shot. And even if it's just spending time with animals or spending time with horses, it would be something that I would highly recommend.
Yeah. I think you're just such a kind, warm person. And through being a teacher and what you're doing now, thank you from the autism community. If I can speak for them, I can't, but thank you. I think you're a good person, and what you're doing is really awesome. So I do want to ask, I don't know if that was your answer, but the last question I always ask, which is if there's anything you wanted people to know about autism, what would it be?
Yeah, I mean, it ties into that. Sorry, I thought that was left.
It's okay.
I just think that I'm not speaking obviously as a parent, but kind of ties into what you were saying. Is it seems like with any person, with any challenge, like finding the thing they love, finding their interests, and also stretching out their interests is so important. And I just think that exploring that connection with animals, with people with autism, is an amazing thing. And whether it's with dogs or goats or horses or whatever, I think it would be something that would be really cool to explore and dig into a little bit deeper.